Okay, so good day everyone. And last time ay nagkaroon tayo ng record regarding parasitic agent at naglas ako dito sa may uh, parasitic flowering plant as a plant pathogen. Okay, and now I will be discussing or continue to discuss the insect as a vector. We all know that insect with sucking mouth parts carry plant virus, especially yung mga pest ng rice, yung green leaf hopper na nagkukos ng tungro, yung brown plant hopper na nagkukos ng stunting doon sa ating rice, yung aphids na nagkukos ng abaca budgetap virus. So lahat ng mga yon ay pwedeng makasira sa mga plants natin. The sucking mouth parts, okay, they are carrying plant viruses on their stylet. So they are stylet-borne viruses, and they can acquire and inoculate. Okay, so inoculate the virus after short feeding. So period of a few seconds to a few minutes. So pag ang ating mga insect ay nagkaroon ng sapping doon sa infected na plants, so that's the time na magkakaroon na ng inoculation yung mga virus natin sa may insect. And yung insect ay matitrigger na kung saan ay gagamitin niya or gagamitin ni virus si insect para makapag-transfer siya sa ibang hosts. Okay? So that is for the parasitic agent of insect as a vector. Ano yung mga yon? So ulitin natin ha. So ang mga different plant parasitic agent ay number one yung virus, nematodes, bacteria, fungi, molecules, and also itong mga flowering plant. Yan, parasitic flowering plant as a pathogen. So they are part of the parasitic agent. So punta naman tayo sa tinatawag nating variability. So kapag sinabi nating variability, uh, this is the ability of the organism to change. So once na yung pathogen natin ay nagkakaroon ng transformations, it means that is so-called uh, that is the characteristic from one generation to another. Okay? So, variant. So, kapag sinabi nating variant naman, this is the offspring or progeny of the both unique parents of an individual that show a variations in characters formed by the parents such as the progeny. So, whatever yung mismong characteristic ni parent 1 and ni parent 2, pwedeng ma-inherit ni offspring or ni progeny. So, variant meaning that is the outcome of both parents. Okay? Kasi sa mga pathogen natin, nagkakaroon din sila ng transformations. Especially ang may pinakamadaming species among all the pathogen ay ang fungi. 'Di ba? Napansin natin na kapag tayo ay nagluto ng kanin tapos hinayaan natin ng 5 or 10 araw yung kanin doon sa bahay natin, yung hindi natin ginagalaw, o anong mangyayari? Nagkakaroon ng amag, di ba? Tapos yung amag, magkakaiba yung kulay, magkakaiba yung species. So it means meron ng interaction ng different parents na nandoon kaya nakakapaggawa sila ng bagong progeny or variant. So kapag sinabi nating variability, tandaan natin, they are the organism to change its characteristic because of from one generation to another because of their parents. Okay? So significance of the variability. So ano yung mga significance for the variability? So number one is the genetic variation. Okay? So genetic variation is the stuff of evolutions. So yung pagbabago ng genetic, it is because of the evolutions. Kapag sinabi nating evolutions, noon, pure lang yung characteristic ng isang pathogen. Pero bakit ngayon nagkakaroon na ng hybrid or something improvement? It is because of the genetic variation. Magkakaiba sila ng characteristics. At doon sa pag-iiba nila ng characteristics, it is because of yung target nila, nag-iiba din yung genetic niya. Example sana, nagtanim ka ng coin. Yung hybrid na coin, yan, nagtanim ka ng example, native na coin. Ang nag infect diyan, fungi. And then, the next season, nagtanim ka ng hybrid na coin. At ang mag infect pa rin ay the same na fungi doon sa native. So, anong gagawin ni fungi para makatribe siya ngayon sa hybrid na coin? So, it means, kailangan niyang mag-evolve. 'Di ba? Magkaroon ng improvement din para at least ay ma-infect niya 'yon. Kaya nga kahit tayo ay improve ng mga varieties, sumasama or nakikisama din ang mga organisms. Ganon ang variability. Okay? Nag-improve ka ng variety, mamaya yung variety na 'yon, after a couple of years or many years, magiging susceptible na rin siya kasi makakapag-adapt na rin itong si pathogen. So, ganun yung sinasabi ng variations of the genetics. Okay? Number two is phenotypic variations. So, kapag sinabi nating phenotypic variation, merong rapid adaptations. Okay? Yung phenotypic or yung outer variations or yung outer na mukha ng mismong uh, pathogen natin can allow the rapid adaptation to constantly changing environment. So kahit nagkakaroon ng climate change, pagbabago ng klima, the pathogen can adapt on that particular environment. Okay? Next, number three is uh, the pathogen is essential for the survival when the host cultivar is introduced. Kapag merong bagong variety or cultivar, essential or required na magkaroon ng survival of the pathogen. So, paano makakapag-survive? Kailangan makapag-adapt siya. And at the same time, ma-improve yung traits niya upang sa ganon, ma-infect niya mismo yung plants. So that is the variability. Number four is knowledge of variations in pathogenic characteristic is valuable in planning effective measures for the disease management. So kailangan ang isang tao or ang isang pathologist ay meron din siyang knowledge in changing the pathogenic characteristic of the pathogen for planning effective measures for the disease management. So para at least ay maging effective yung measurement natin, yes, alam nating fungi, yes, alam nating virus, yes, alam nating nematodes, pero ano yung specific variant? Baka mamaya mali yung management na gagamitin mo kasi nagkaroon na ng improvement or evolutions ng mismong pathogen. Okay? So ito yung mga dapat nating tandaan in the significance of the variability. Na ang pathogen natin, once na nag improve yung crops, nag improve din siya, sumasabay. Di ba? So sumasabay siya sa uso. Kung ang tao sumasabay sa mga uso, ganoon din ang pathogen natin. Mag improve ka ng technology or mag improve ka ng variety, mag improve din ang pathogen natin based on their capability to adapt. Okay? Kasi nga, we all know, pathogen can contribute a diseases because they are a pathogenicity. Through pathogenicity, I should say. So that is pathogen. Okay? So, another terminology is number three is the forma specialis. So, kapag sinabi nating forma specialis, they are the subgroup individual within the pathogen species na merong ine-exhibit na morphological similarities. Pare-pareho sila ng morphological or kaya yung itsura. But, differ in pathogenicity. Kapag sinabi nating pathogenicity, ability of the pathogen to cause a diseases. So it means magkakaiba sila ng kakayahan kung paano sila mag-trigger, mag-form ng stress doon sa plants natin on the particular host genera. Pare-parehas sila. Example sana, yung species nila ay pare-pareho. Yung morphological similarities ay pare-pareho. Pero magkakaiba sila on how they paano yung mode of infections. Okay? So, ganun ang mga pathogen natin, iba-iba. And then we have also physiological specializations. Within the species of the pathogen, there exists certain individuals that are morphologically similar but differ in terms of physiological, biochemical, and pathogenicity, and differentiated on the basis of reaction on the host genera or the cultivar. So that is the physiological specialization. Magkakapareho din sila morphologically similar, but in physiological, biochemical, and pathogenicity, iba-iba yung kanyang reaction. Okay? Yung outcome ng plants natin, iba. Dito naman sa Forma Specialis, iba yung mode of action ng mismong pathogen. Dito naman sa physiological specialization, iba yung magiging outcome ng plants once na nag-infect ito. Okay? Next, we have number 5, phytotype. So, a population of a parasite species where all individuals share specific phytosystems, such as pathogenicity or parasitic ability. Phytotype. And then, kapag sinabi nating biotype naman, that is the progeny group developed by a variant with similar heredity or a subgroup of individual species that typically share one or a few common characteristics. Okay? So, on the different pathogen and parasitic agent, ano yung mga stage of variation nila? Pare-pareho sila for the morphology and biochemistry, wherein meron silang genus, while yung ating morphology and biochemistry, yeah, in the second species, so species ang ginagamit ng mga virus bacteria. Unlike sa virus na virus name. Okay? And then we have also nematodes species, and then plants is species. Okay? And then ang host nila, syempre, kapag sinabi natin host, ano yung target nila? Ang fungi, ang target niya is the variety or special form. While yung bacteria is variety or pathovar, while yung viruses are the type, race, and then yung plants naman, yung parasitic plants, hindi yung plants na coin or yung host. Ang plants na tinutukoy dito is yung mismong ah, plant parasite. Okay? Variety or cultivar. And sa clonal population, single spore-derived biotype, single colony-derived strain, isolations naman kapag virus, individual nematode can clone itself, yung mismong nematodes, and then sa plants naman, through clonal. Okay? Through their parts. So, meron tayong mga variability of the plant pathogen. Number 1 is yung tinatawag nating uh, variability in the fungi. Okay? So, in the variability of the fungi, ano yung unang step na ginagawa ng fungi natin once na siya ay magkaroon na ng transformations? Number 1, migrations. Para makapag-transform siya, kailangan niyang lumipat wherein pupunta siya sa ibang plants. Okay? Pathogen from one place to another. Okay? So that is migrations. So kapag sa migrations, example sana, ito sana yung fungi natin, pupunta siya sa ibang spores ng fungi, wherein ibang species ito. Okay? Ito yung parent 1, ito yung parent 2. Okay? So they thrive or they come to another pathogen or another food type of fungi or species. Okay? And then, nagkakaroon sila ng mutations. So, kapag sinabi nating mutations, meron tayong mga different process. We have the transposition, insertion, deletions, or the chromosome polymorphism. So, once na si parent 1 at si parent 2, nagkaroon ng fusions, yan. So, it is more or less abrupt change in organism genetic material that can be passed down to a offspring. Okay? That is mutations. Okay? So, sa mutations, nangyayari lang yan Either, yan, merong both parents na kung saan ay magkakaroon ng fusions or isang fungi na kung saan merong iba't ibang background of heredity. Example, sana siya ay F1. And then, sasarilin niya yung mismong mutations. So, it means magkakaroon ng tinatawag na substitution, deletions, or additions of the DNA based doon sa kanyang pag-mutate or pagbabago. Okay? Pero kapag merong both parents, parent 1 and parent 2, siyempre, ang magiging outcome niya ay filial 1 or F1 or offspring or original offspring or unique offspring. Okay? Or filial 1. Pero meron ding mga fungi na kung saan hindi niya na kailangan ng parents or something, hindi niya na kailangan ng asawa para makagawa siya ng kanyang offspring. Okay, ginagawa niya yon through itself, wherein yun yung tinatawag nating mutations. Okay? Basta yung mismong fungi na yon is an F1 or something, meron siyang background wherein magkakaiba yung mga parent particles. Okay? Next one is recombinations. So in the recombinations, most change in the characteristic of the pathogen are result of recombinations that occurs during sexual process. Okay? So when the two haploids, the nuclei or haploid nuclei containing different genetic materials unite to form a diploid. Okay, so kapag yung dalawang nuclei, example sana si parent 1, may isang nuclei, si parent 2, may isang nuclei, makakabuo sila ng tinatawag nating diploid or what we call on the zygotes. Okay, very successive kasi kapag merong parent 1 and parent 2. Okay, so so the zygote is a result of crossover in which part of the chromatid of one chromosome of a pair are expressed with that of the other. Okay? So the recombination can occur during mitotic divisions. So nag-occur lang siya during mitotic divisions of the cell in the course of growth of the individual, and it is important in fungi, especially the Poxinia graminis. So the majority of the fungi being haploid have only very brief diploid phase, very often undergoing meiosis very soon after karyogamy. So, yung ating recombinations is merong tinatawag na zygotes or the 2N. So, in that zygote can transform through meiosis and the germinations to produce of what we call on the sporangium or the 1N. Okay? So this is the spores. So si zygote naman ang may responsible for the maturity wherein magkakaroon ng tinatawag na meiosis process. So in the meiosis process, the sporangium grows on a short stalk. Haploid spores are formed in sides. Okay? And then we have also the heterokaryosis. So kapag sinabi nating heterokaryosis, the phenomenon is commonly brought about by hypal anastomosis. Okay? Between the mycelia of the two parental genotypes. While yung parasexualism naman, the fifth process of the fungi or development of fungi, wherein the genetic recombination can occur within the fungal heterokaryon. So, parasexualism is also called asomatic recombinations. Okay? This is the process by which the genetic recombinations can occur within the fungal heterokaryon. So, yung heterokaryotic or heterokaryon or heterokaryotic, they are a fungal mycelium that always have the opportunity for dissimilar nuclei. And it produced the diploid or what is known as mitotic recombinations. So the mitotic recombination can occur to produce a random uh, division of zygote as a, ano tawag doon? A random, producing a random assortment of genetic material. Okay? That is released in progeny after haploidizations. So this sequence of events has been described in the parasexual cycles. So the parasexual cycles or the genetic recombination without the meiosis stage of parasexual cycle are numbered as a hypal conjugations, heterokaryosis, nuclear fusions, and mitosis. Okay? So that undergoing the process of the parasexuals. Okay? So the heteroploidy naman is an existence of the cells, tissues, or a whole organism with a numbers of chromosome per nucleus. Heteroploidy. Okay? So, para mas maintindihan natin yung mismong fusions or variability of the plant pathogen through fungi kasi ang fungi natin nagbabago. Kaya nga tinawag siyang variability kasi nga nagchi-change, nagta-transforms yung ating fungi. Para mas maintindihan natin itong genetic transformations ng ating fungi, let me present yung development ng fungi wherein ito ay sa physically na. Kasi yon ay talagang physiological process on how that zygote transformed into sporangium. But here, paano kaya pumapasok yung fungi or paano nagtatransform? Based or paano nagde-develop or paano nagpaparami? Okay? So, nagpaparami ang fungi based sa kanyang spores. Okay? Ang fungi kasi they act like a plants. But wala silang kakayahan to produce a chlorophyll. Okay? Kaya hindi nagiging green pigment. Baka mamaya nakita ninyo yung kulay niya, green naman sir. Especially may mga fungi na green. That is their species. Pero, ang mga fungi natin, they act like a plants. Just like yung mushroom. 'Di ba yung mushroom is made from fungi? Or ang pinaka seed-like structure ng mushroom is spores. Okay? So, the seed-like structure of the fungi is spores. Ipagpalagay na lang natin na ito ay dahon. Ito yung kanyang cuticle. Ito mismo yung dahon. Loob ng dahon. Okay? And then this is the spores. Okay? So, the spores is a seed-like structure na kapag isang spores lang, pwede makapag-develop ng isang colony sa isang plants. Okay? Example sana, nagkaroon ng malakas na hangin at yung spores na yon ay naidala mismo sa may leaves. Yung isang spores. So, yung spores kapag activated, and at the same time, favorable yung environment niya para makapag-produce, mabilis lang yung kanyang development. So kapag sinabi nating spores, they are the reproductive unit or the seed-like structure of the fungi. Okay, seed-like structure of the fungi. So the spores is the process, begins with fungal spores which are reproductive unit of the fungi. So once na-activated si spores, that's the time na magpo-produce siya ng tinatawag nating germination tube. At ang germination tube, once the spores has settled on the plant surface, it begins to germinate. So ito, tandaan na lang natin, ang germination tube para siyang stem to produce a leaves. So para siyang mag-germinate. Kaya nga tinawag siyang germination tube kasi yan yung parang pinaka stem of that seeds. Okay? So meron siyang epicotyl o hypocotyl. Okay? So that is the germination tube. Okay? So a producing structure called the germination tube. So this tube is an elongated, a thread-like structure that extend from the spores and from the plant surface or across the plant surface. So nag-extend. So it means ang germination tube, siya din yung tinatawag nating mycelium. Okay? Yung mycelium, siya yung branching filamentous. Tama ba? Branch filamentous. Okay? And then, after which, Once na nakapag-produce na siya ng germination tube, siyempre meron tayong tinatawag na appressorium. Yung appressorium kasi, it tightly in the surface. Okay? So to facilitate the penetrations, the germinations often forms an appressorium. So this is a flattened disc-like structure that adheres tightly to the plant surface. So the appressorium generate high turgor pressures, okay, which is used to drive the penetration peg through the plant outer layers. Okay? This mechanism force combined with the enzymatic activity that break down the plant cell walls that enable the fungus to infiltrate the host. So it means ang appressorium, siya yung kumakapit or nagtatight doon sa mismong leaves upang sa ganon hindi maihangin or magkaroon ng trouble during the process of colonizations. So it means siya yung nakadikit sa leaves. As you can see, yung spores, hindi siya nakatouch sa mismong leaves. But rather, the appressorium na yung may responsible doon. Okay? Next, after makapag-produce ng appressorium, that's the time that the penetration peg breaching the surface. Kapag sinabi nating breaching the surface, pinipierce. So, it pierce. Another word for breaching is piercing. Pierce. Piercing the leaves or the cuticle. So, pinipierce niya, tinutusok niya. Okay? So, yung ating penetration hypa is responsible for facilitation in the germination tube, often breaching the plant surface. So the fungus extend a penetration hypa into the host tissues, and this hypa is a thin, maliit lang, filamentous structure that advances through the plant cells. So the fungi, allowing the fungi to explore and establish itself within the hosts. Okay? So the penetration hypa is essential for the initial stages of the colonizations. Okay? So that is for the penetration hypa. Okay? So ang penetration hypa siya yung sisira or magpipierce doon sa mismong pore ng plants or sa leaves ng plants upang sa ganon makapag-produce siya ng tinatawag nating invasive hypa and hostorium. Ang ginagawa ni invasion, it thrive and it move into the cell to produce of what we call on the hostorium. And si hostorium naman ang may responsible sa pag-absorb ng nutrients para makapag-grow si fungi. Okay? So, yan yung ginagawa. So, the hostorium sustain the growth. So, the fungus forms a hostoria, which are specialized structure that penetrates the host cells but remain enveloped by the host plasma membrane. So, the hostorium facilitate the transfer of nutrients from the host to the fungi, effectively paralyzing or parasitizing the plants that allow the fungi to extract the resources it needs to thrive while continuing to spread the infections. So it means si Ostrium ang may responsible and at the same time, pag fungi, tandaan natin, intact host surface. Hindi sila pumapasok but rather ang nandun lang sa loob is yung parang pinakasap nila or pinaka-stylet nila, that is the hostorium. Okay? Sa plants naman, ang tawag mo, yun yung mga secondary roots. Yan. And then primary roots naman, si invasive hypa. So si invasive hypa, nagpo-produce ng hostorium. Siya yung nagtatribe at nagmumove sa loob ng cell para makolonize yung mismong leaves. Okay? That is for the fungi. Okay? Next, punta naman tayo sa variability of the bacteria. So, sa variability ng bacteria, number one na process is conjugations. Okay? Kapag sinabi natin conjugations, ito yung on how they transfer the DNA from one bacterial to the cell or bacterial cell to another bacterial cell. So, this is the infected bacteria and this is the original or healthy bacteria wherein ang unang gagawin ni bacteria para maging successful yung colonizations niya, it transfer the DNA from one bacterial cell to another through plasmid. Okay? In these two compatible bacteria come in contact. So it means magkakaroon ng contact itong dalawa. Once na na-reach na ni infected bacteria, yung healthy bacteria, that's the time na magkakaroon na ng activations. Wherein the plasmid or chromosome through conjugation breeds or pilus. So magpo-produce siya ng tinatawag nating pilus upang sa ganun ma-connect niya yung mismong pilus dito sa recipient. So it means siya yung magiging tulay upang sa ganun maipasa natin or maipasa si F plasmid and the DNA. Okay? And then, after that, the DNA taken up from the external environment by absorption. So it means, ang gagawin, once na na-connect successfully si pilus doon sa recipients, that's the time na ang gagawin ni infected bacteria, it will fuse itself doon sa mismong healthy na bacteria. And then, after ma-fuse, that's the time na kung saan magkakaroon na ng process of transduction. So, doon sa transductions, sa transduction, nandun na si relaxome and transferasome and also the DNA polymerase attached mismo doon sa bagong F plasmid na mapoproduce. Okay? So, yun. So, magkakaroon ng donations of new DNA polymerase doon sa healthy na bacteria. So, the transfer of bacterial genes with a bacteriophage. Okay? So, that is the process of the bacteria. And at the same time, afterwards, after the transduction, this is now the new, ang tawag doon, this is now the new pictures of the bacteria or the healthy bacteria. So it means nagkaroon na ng infections. Wherein nakakapag-produce na din siya or meron na din siyang pilus na pwedeng i-connect na rin sa ibang mga healthy na bacteria. Okay? Para magkaroon ng successful infection and colonization. Kasi gustong-gustong i-take over ni bacteria ang buong plants. Kaya ganito yung ginagawa niya. Okay? So magkaiba yung phylus. Baka ang iniisip niyo yung phylus ay yung flagella. Ano? Yung ito is on the genetic picture of the bacteria. Yung sinasabi nating flagella, yun yung whip-like structure or a tail of the bacteria. Pero ito kasi sa genetic niya or sa chromosomes. Okay, yung phylums is for the chromosomes or transformations of the bacteria through variability. At ito naman, yung mga atrichous, monotrichous, polytrichous, yun yung mga type ng bacteria based doon sa number of flagella na meron sila. Okay? Next, punta naman tayo sa variability in virus or viroid. So, kapag sinabi nating recombinations, it means merong isang strand na iba wherein nagkaroon ng combinations yung both parents and yung both parents that may result from mixed infections. Example sana, pure. Pure ito. So, it means ito ay nakuha niya sa parent 1. Pero yung parent 2, nagkaroon na ng fusions doon sa genetic offspring or doon sa genetic characteristic ng isang offspring. Nakuha niya ito sa parent 2, nakuha niya ito sa parent 1. Once na naging successful yung ganitong recombinations, it means ay ito na ay isang F1 or offspring or new offspring or new variant of virus. Okay? It occurs mostly during replications. Okay? So, ganito yung tinatawag nating recombinations. Kailangan meron doon sa tatlong strand ng cells or something doon sa chromosomes. So, doon sa chromosomes, kailangan merong naiiba. Even though millions of chromosomes yun, basta merong isa lang na strand na nakuha niya sa isang parents, na yun yung objective niya para magkaroon ng improvement yung variant ng mismong offspring, that is so-called recombinations. Pero kapag sinabi nating reassortment, wala ditong naidugtong, but rather ay nahiwalay sila on the offspring. So, example sana, ito ay dominant at ito naman ay recessive. So ang nakikita mo lang na morphological characteristic ng virus is the dominant. Kasi nga, kapag sinabi kasi nating dominant, dalawa lang na alleles, isa or dalawa na alleles, dominant na yon. Wherein, yung expression ng morphological appearance, makikita mo. Pero kapag sa recessive, ang requirement, dalawa. Sa dominant, kahit isa lang, magpapakita na yung capture or something yung picture nung mismong or yung morphological characteristic nung virus na yan. Example sa akin, kamukha ko yung tatay ko. So it means, kung hindi ko kamukha yung nanay ko, it means ay dominant yung alleles ng tatay ko. Okay? Pero kapag nagkaroon ng combinations, na it means ay yung mga mata ko, yung aking bunganga ay sa tatay ko, yung ilong ko sa nanay ko, it means nagkaroon na ng tinatawag nating recombinations. Pero sa reassortment, iisa lang. Okay? Iisa lang yung nagpapakita. Reassortment. Okay? So, yung dominant and recessive. Kapag dominant, either one or two alleles magkakaroon na ng effects or something na makikita mo yung kanyang morphological structure. While doon sa recessive, it needs two alleles or chromosomes upang sa ganon ay masabi mong merong pagbabago. Okay? Next, we have mutations. So, yung mga bacteria natin ay yung mga virus natin nagkakaroon ng recombinations and reassortment. After ng reassortment, yung mga virus kasi natin pwede silang maging self or sexual reproduction. Self productions. Okay? Wherein ay once na nagkaroon ng mutation or transformation yung iisang virus, yung kanyang outcome merong unique na characteristic or unique chromosomes na nailagay. So it means ito ay galing sa kanilang parents or na-inherit niya sa kanyang parents. So a change in the viral genetic material that can occur spontaneously leading to variations in viral characteristics. Okay? So that is variability in virus or viroid. So ano yung difference among the virus, virion, and virusoid, and also the prion? So kapag sinabi nating virion, they are a complete functional virus that has the capacity to infect living tissues. And it includes the genetic material, either the RNA or DNA, the capsid envelope, and the membrane proteins. So the membrane proteins allows the virus to bind to its host and enter it. While yung viroid naman, they are smaller than virus. Okay? Ang virusoid naman, siya yung mismong helper ng virus para sirain yung mismong cell bago makapasok si virus. So, virusoid cannot replicate autonomously and they require the cell infected with a virus that function as a helper for replication. So, as you can see, si virusoid, para makapasok si virus, kailangan niyang sirain ng host cell. Okay? At pag nasira yung host cell, that's the time na makakapasok na si virus. And then the prion is the misfolded protein, which is infectious in nature. Prions are encoded by the host chromosomes, and prion proteins trigger normal protein to fold abnormally, which causes a diseases. So this is the normal protein. Once na nag-change yung kanyang kulay or structure, it means there is a infections. Okay? So, meron din tayong mga methods of identifying the variability of the virus. So, paano natin ma-identify yung mismong virus? Okay, na-identify natin yung virus through number one, random amplified polymorphic DNA. So, yung random amplified polymorphic DNA ay isang PCR or polymerase chain reaction-based molecular marker that shows that the difference in the pattern of bands amplified from genetically distinct individual behave as Mendelian genetic markers. As you can see, this is the healthy plants, and then this is the infected, wherein kapag gagamitan natin ng gel electrophoresis, is iba na yung kanyang itsura. So it means they are infected by the virus, wherein ang nag-take over na sa ibang mga DNAs ay si virus. Wala na yung DNA ng plants. Okay? And then we have also the restriction fragment, polymorphism. So this is are involving the DNA, digestion of DNA with restriction endonucleases. Okay? Next, we have also the amplified fragment length polymorphism. This is the variation of RAPD that able to detect restriction sites, polymorphism without prior sequence using PCR amplifications. Number four is gagamit tayo ng SSR that facilitate the DNA fingerprinting by the use of mini and microsatellites. So gagamit ka ng mga forward primer and reverse primer. Once na nagkaroon na ng changes doon sa genotypes, it means there is a uh, virus. Okay? And then last one is the inter-simple sequence repeats. So the PCR-based technique that produces dominant molecular markers by the DNA amplifications of putative microsatellite regions. So this is the GTTA and then this is the anong tawag doon? Another PCR. So this is the original PCR or the normal PCR and then this is the infected by the virus wherein as you can see merong nawawala or something merong nag-change na color. Okay? Wherein ay merong something detection of the virus. Okay? Ito yung original na characteristic ng isang plants or this is the original DNA ng plants and then this is the abnormal DNA of the plants. Okay? Okay. So next video natin ay i-discuss ko naman yung disease cycle. Okay? So thank you so much guys and I hope na ma-enjoy natin ang discussions natin ngayong araw. Thank you.